Chinese citizens could be gearing up for a massive popular uprising against the CCP. But what if we told you an uprising is not all they have in mind? Could it be possible that the Chinese are preparing for a secession from the People's Republic of China? Well, that surely seems to be the case in southern China, where Xi Jinping is tormenting ordinary citizens and making lives extremely difficult for them. Perhaps ousting Jinping from office is not all they have in mind. It very well could be that they want a separate country for themselves. Hi, let's talk about the possible collapse of the Chinese Republic into independent bits and pieces in the near future. I am your host Sanbir Ranhotra and you are watching TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. Let's get to it. Could China be headed for a massive popular uprising against the Chinese Communist Party? We at TFI have already explained how that happening very soon is absolutely possible. However, is it possible that Han Chinese dominated provinces of the mainland could now be contemplating seceding away from the People's Republic of China? As it turns out, the decisions being taken by a despotic Xi Jinping and his coterie of communist lackeys suggest so. The southern provinces of China are being meted out a stepfatherly behavior by Xi Jinping, and these provinces are about to revolt against the CCP regime. The southern provinces of China have for long borne the brunt of CCP's unfair policies, at the behest of which the livelihoods of people living in the region are regularly imperiled. China's southern province of Guangdong, for instance, will continue to restrict electricity usage in its 17 cities until the end of this year due to a continuous shortage of energy supply. The affected cities include the provincial capital of Guangzhou and other major industrial counties like Foshan, Dongguan, and Huizhou. Factories and industries in these industrial hubs are being told to ration their electricity use and function only 4 days in a week, a diktat which directly impacts their revenue and productivity, while also pounding the Chinese economy as a whole. But Guangdong province is not alone in its misery. Southern provinces including Guangxi and Yunnan have also started to ration electricity due to the supply shortage. In a neighborhood in Guangzhou, meanwhile, Chinese authorities have clamped a lockdown. Guangzhou, a business center of 15 million people, ordered mass testing after locally acquired infections were found beginning May 21st. Subsequently, the CCP on Monday reimposed anti-coronavirus travel controls on its southern province of Guangdong, announcing that anyone leaving the populous region must be tested for the virus following a spike in infections. With his mindless iron ore and coal wars against Australia, which are having a cascading effect across several Chinese industries and sectors, Xi Jinping is putting Chinese citizens out of jobs and imperiling their livelihoods. Chinese cities are going dark and industries are being forced to halt operations. But why are we mentioning this? Because the region most affected by Xi Jinping's erratic ego issues again happens to be southern China. The southern provinces of China are nearing their tolerance threshold when it comes to dealing with CCP's high-handedness. Recent bogging down of the region, stripping it of the adequate electricity supply, putting cities under haphazard lockdowns and rigorous containment measures, and a general sense of economic insecurity among the residents promise to become foundational blocks of a massive uprising against the Chinese Communist Party. So the question is this: can the Han Chinese themselves go ballistic on Xi Jinping? The CCP General Secretary has done enough to provoke them. Pandemic, tariffs leading to blackouts, dark and cold nights, crumbling health infrastructure, electricity-starved hospitals and industries all point towards the direction of people in southern China wanting to break free. The CCP has been working to establish Han Chinese supremacy in China. With a cultural genocide on Uyghurs, Mongolians and Tibetans, the CCP has ensured that it makes enemies out of large populations. Now, if a significant chunk of Han Chinese too start turning against the CCP, rest assured the end of communist rule in China is nearer than many might want to believe. It would either be an end of Maoism in China or demands of secession gaining traction even among the Han Chinese populations.